Show of hands, who dreads any government ID photos? I need to renew my passport, and I decided that this time I would go wearing very little makeup. As a makeup artist, I always overthink it, and I put my makeup on like I'm being lit by Annie Leibovitz versus the yahoos with their PhD, aka push here dummy, cameras. So off I go to shitty Cloverdale Mall to some random shop to get snapped. This old crabby uncle takes a photo and immediately starts shaking his head. No good, no good. Shows me. I said, it's fine. It's just a passport. He says, you need more makeup. Sphincter says what now? I said, I'm a makeup artist and happy with how I look. So just take the photo. He hands me a tissue and says to rub my face. I'm like, okay. He takes another photo and immediately looks at his screen. No, 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 no. You need foundation. Go put on makeup. I honestly wish I could make this shit up. At this point, I say forget it. I'll do it at home. Then an old man customer who was in the store as well proceeded to mansplain travel to me. It's like, dude, I lived in Singapore for 15 years and have traveled the fucking world. You definitely do not need to explain travel to me. I shared this shitty experience on my social media where someone replied sharing a link to DIY your own passport photos. I guess that's what DIY means, which I will attempt to do. Can we start a woman 50 plus in business collective? I want a decal in the window so I know exactly where to spend my money. I'd much rather fund the brilliance of my peers than deal with another amateur customer service jackass. Welcome to the Fuck You 50s, the podcast for women who refuse to tolerate the bullshit anymore. This is real talk, real stories, and a long overdue reality check. I'm your host, Andrea Claire, and this podcast is the filter-free voice you've been waiting for, with a dose of F-bombs. The Fuck You 50s, unfiltered, unapologetic, and undeniably needed. My guest today is Alicia Jones, a powerhouse health and wellness expert who has dedicated her career to transforming the lives of women over 45. You've likely seen her sharing her wisdom, hosting Health Matters and The View, Health and Wellness on Rogers TV. With a BA in kinesiology and a massive list of credentials, including from National Coach of Canada to Advanced Sports Nutritionist, she doesn't just give advice, she brings the science of vitality. I had been seeking out a professional who wasn't about pushing that toxic diet culture, the what's your excuse narrative. I loved our chat. Alicia's sense of humor and approachable personality made it a wee bit challenging to get an almost 2-hour recording, not kidding, down to at least one. For you, my Fuck You 50s audience, hope you enjoy it. Alicia, welcome to the Fuck You 50s.
Oh, super excited.
Are you in Toronto as well?
Well, I used to live in Mississauga, and now
Okay.
I moved to Niagara Falls.
Oh, nice.
Oh, we'll have to get together in human one day instead of online.
So we were in Singapore for 15 years and we moved back in 2022. So my youngest daughter started at Etobicoke School of the Arts. And so we got a house near the school. So what took you out to Niagara Falls?
I was sick of the big city. I was just especially like, I'm so done with this. And then it just happened to be because of COVID, my husband went online, like he was able to work online. I'm always online. And so it was, I want forest and I want like green and small community where you really like the people and our neighbors here are amazing.
So are you in Niagara on the Lake or are you in Niagara Falls?
I'm in Crystal Beach, which is just outside of Niagara Falls. I'm 30 minutes from the falls. It's like a beach area. So it's a small town. It's beautiful. A lot of people from the U.S. actually come here during the summer season when it's actually not freezing cold in winter. And it's so nice. I walk to the beach. It's like right there.
Is it a good beach too? Like, can you swim in the lake?
Yeah, it's a beautiful
Lake Ontario
beach. No, it's Lake Erie. I don't like... Again, I'm like now into like a lesser human mode. I'm more like, so we got a swimming pool so that I could just swim at home.
Yeah. So when we were living in Singapore, our house had a pool. And then when we moved here, our yard was big enough that we could get a pool. And my husband really wanted a cottage. And then he was like, okay, we could get a pool or we can get a cottage. And I'm like, well, if you fucking put it that way, of course I want the cottage.
Why not have both?
I know. That's what I say, but, you know, whatever.
There's other things that I wanna fight for in life. That's not the hill I'm gonna die
Yeah,
on for
fair
sure.
enough.
Yeah, yeah,
Fair
yeah.
enough.
So tell me about your background. What brought you to like, through the path where you're at now?
I was actually in hotels and travel, talking about all this travel and going all over the place. Like, I thought I was going to be in hotel and tourism, all of that sort of fun stuff. But I started to get really down about a few things. I actually moved back from Spain. You're talking about moving back from Singapore. I moved back from Spain and I didn't even want to really come back. I just felt like I needed to go to university, get my act together, and I couldn't do it when I was in Spain. But Spain was where I had built my best friends and my community, and I loved it. So when I came back, it was like I was going through a really rough breakup, except with a country. Like I was just
Yeah,
completely devastated.
I get
Did
it.
you feel that same way when you came back from Singapore?
Yeah, you kind of feel a bit, for lack of a better term, like out of sorts, right? Because like we came back. Basically, I was tired of living in Singapore, and we came back because I wanted to come back.
Mhm.
And I don't know if you've heard of the concept of the expat triangle, but somebody showed me this like years ago when we were still in Singapore, where it was this woman had moved from, I feel like she moved from Nicaragua. I can't even say the word Nicaragua.
Nicaragua?
I believe she moved from there to another country. And she was talking about like I think it's actually, I was telling someone else this the other day and I think I screwed up the story, but it's like you come from your home country, which is a square. So you're a square and you
Mhm.
move to a host country, which is a circle, and your square doesn't quite fit into that circle. But
Mhm.
after you've been there for a bit of time, you kind of start to kind of like amalgamate a little bit. Your culture is adjusted, just your whole way of life. You've got this fresh, like different outlook on things. And so you're not quite a circle, but you're also no longer a square. So you become a triangle.
Oh.
And then when you move back to your home country, you don't fully feel like you fit in anymore because there's so many things that are not relatable. The lifestyle is different. And that's what I kind of found. So I feel like your whole, like you're going through a breakup. Yeah. This country, like it's like part of your history. Like you're saying, you have all these friends and everything there. And then
Yeah.
just to kind of like, it's not easy. People don't understand. I mean, yeah, I don't know about you, but I definitely had a life of privilege living in Singapore for
Mm.
sure.
That's pretty much so I knew I had to come, like I wanted to come back too. I think I had trouble coming to terms with needing to leave or wanting to leave, but I knew that I had to kind of come back. That
How
was
long
it.
were you in Spain for?
4 years,
Okay.
4 or 5 years. I was there for 9/11 actually. That
Oh,
was,
wow.
yeah, so I was there for, quite a while, and, again, same thing, I didn't feel like I really fit in, but in the same respect, I was in tourism, like, I started working in hotels, and I felt good in the sense that it was like I was speaking French and Spanish and English, and I had that, kind of love of languages, and I was able to use that in where I was. But I went through like a really bad depression, and really the only place that I felt really good and at home was when I would go to the YMCA. And it wasn't like it was like lift, pump, do all these things. It was like there was a track and I put on the music and just walk or like run for a while. Or I started to meet people there that were really empowering and uplifting. They were great people. And I wanted to be in that ambiance a lot. I just felt really good when I was exercising and being around people that were in this empower each other type of ambiance. And so that's when I pivoted and I started to
Yeah.
get into fitness.
It's interesting that you say that too. Like I have to be completely upfront. I've never been one, like I've gone through spits and spurts of like working out and things, but it's not like my love. I wasn't like I feel like my parents weren't really an example of like working out, and I
Mhm.
feel like we were active. We were an active family, but we weren't like, I see kids that are like running with their parents and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
so I didn't have that kind of influence, I guess.
But, it might not even be influence because from a genetic standpoint, like only half of the population are exercise responders, which means they get
Huh.
that runner's high or they get that really great feeling with exercise. It's why no matter what happens, like the industry of fitness trainers and workout programs and trying to help people is always going to be around because there is still that half of the population that just does not feel that and they need help to get that sort of at least the health responses that come with exercise.
Yeah, that actually I didn't know that. It actually makes so much sense. I was just going to say too, like we decided a year before we actually left Singapore that we were leaving. So a lot of people, when they're expats in Singapore, they don't get that privilege of like knowing that they're leaving. Sometimes they get a contract that just cancels or somebody gets fired or whatever. And then usually you have under 30 days to leave the country. You have to apply for an extension and all these other things. But again, like we decided, so I knew we had a year, and I was not happy with so many things with my life in Singapore, but I loved going for walks, and I love like there's the rainforest, like the jungle. So I would just like, we didn't have a car, but I would just take a taxi out to whatever jungle trek. And I always brought my camera because you'd see all this wildlife. I was always looking for snakes and monkeys. So it's interesting that you'd say that in Spain, you're like, go to the gym and meeting people that way. And I was just looking for snakes.
Well, that's also really great for your health, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're in the forest, right? Yeah. So then, anyways, I ended up getting in fitness. Long story short, I had a lot of clients that were older women. And a lot of my clients, I was trying to get to do the CN Tower climb, which has like over 1,700 steps. I don't even know how many steps it has. And a lot of the women were like, I'm too old to do this. I'm not going to do this. And so I was
At
like,
what age?
like in their 50s. And, some of that you wonder as well. Is it that like some of them were genuinely feeling like, I feel too old to do this. I can't go up a flight of stairs without being out of breath. My knees hurt. Like genuine, I feel too old. And I think some were like, oh, no, I'm too old for this. Like, as in, like I'm not doing that. I've done my time. I don't need to be doing things like that now.
Yeah.
But either way, it's still the same type of like, come on. Yeah, you can. So I
find it so interesting because I'm 54 now, right? And there has been never a time in my life where I felt like too old or, like I want to say too, like not too young, but I mean, aside from when I was a teenager and doing things I probably shouldn't have been doing, but, but I find it interesting, but I can also say that I was working on a Sears photo shoot one time. Sorry, this doesn't really pertain to fitness whatsoever, but just that age mentality, because I was in my 30s and I came to set and I had like, just braids, like two little braids, like whatever, it's the 90s. And I remember having to do up a couple of the models, and I did one of them with like braids like mine, like kind of textured, messy braids. And the art director for Sears was like, Andrea, you need to change the hair. And I was like, why? They're like, oh, because this is for like the women in their 30s, and nobody wears their hair like that. And I was like, I'm 34 and I'm totally wearing my hair like this right now. And they're like, you're not the normal.
Oh, wow.
So it's funny how you say like women in their 50s were like, I'm too old for that. And I cannot relate. I'm sure obviously people feel that way.
Well,
anyway.
I didn't like that they were feeling that way either.
Yeah,
so my mother, I recruited my mother who's 72 to do it. And like she was 72, she did her fitness classes, the whole 9 yards. So
you're pointing at her saying, if that old lady can do it. So.
I used her age. I did not say old lady, but I was like, if she's 72, so can you. Okay. Like that, and that was it. And they all joined. And so like, she was like the whole reason that I got into the over 50 population. Growing up, my grandmother was the one who was like taking care of me because my mom was a single mother. But my grandmother grew up in the time when smoking was normal. She was a nurse and she smoked. So she was like bedridden. She had like COPD, cardiovascular disease, and she couldn't just take care of me. We had to get babysitters to come in. And so when my mom did the CN Tower with me, and here she is 72, the same age that my grandmother was when we started to have to get babysitters in, I'm like, you really have a choice. Like you have this choice when you understand and know. I think part of it is knowing, right? What to do and how to make yourself healthier. But to your point, like, I mean, you're in your 50s now, and women in their 50s now, it's like you're in your 30s, like 40s is like this, like 30s. It's not.
Although to be honest, I did look better in my 30s.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. Well, I feel like I don't know. I don't want to see pictures back from the day, but I think I'm still looking pretty good, and I'm.
You look great.
Oh, well, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
We know now, right? Like
Yeah.
we know more about health and wellness and how the importance of exercise, the importance of strength training, how menopause shifts a lot of things for
Yeah.
us and how to better take care of ourselves. And so I think that's what's different. It's like 50 isn't the same now as it was.
No, definitely not. I agree with you. Definitely people are taking a lot better, like better care of themselves than they did like years ago. I mean, just smoking itself, like you mentioned, the smoking is down
Mhm.
considerably. You used to be able to smoke on the airplanes. They used to have ashtrays in hospital beds.
Yeah. Like, and
Like,
like you could have a cigarette like in the waiting room,
yeah.
no problem. Hey, there's like oxygen tanks, no worries. Just have some cigarettes. Like that's okay.
Yeah, yeah, just light up in the corner over there, maybe. Yeah, it's crazy, and even just food wise, like yeah, people I think are just like understanding like food and
Mhm.
what's better for them. I even think like even skincare, right? Of course,
Mhm.
getting back to kind of what I do for a living, it's like skincare is come so far ahead as well. So, and
Yeah.
I'm not even talking about injectables and stuff like that. Even
Mhm.
just and understanding that you should be wearing SPF. Like,
Uh-huh.
I'm a redhead. When I was a kid, I don't remember really having sunscreen put on my body, like as a
Mm.
child. I remember as a teenager going to the beach with friends and putting oil on my body. The only
Yeah.
fucking stupid redhead on the
Well, and the
beach.
tanning beds, like
Yes.
tanning beds. I went to tanning beds when I was younger. That
Yeah.
was like, oh yeah, you've got to have your tan all year
Yeah.
round.
I remember I worked at a place in Kitchener-Waterloo. What was it called? It was like the Flying Lizard. I don't know. Anyway, they had girls like dancing in cages.
Oh, interesting.
And so I got hired to do their hair and makeup, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun. But there was a couple of the girls that were in the suntan beds all the time, and I remember them being younger than me, and their skin just looking so leathery.
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of like, note to self, don't hang out in a sun tanning bed.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that was like the norm. Like
Yeah.
everybody did that around here all the
Yeah,
time. Yeah.
that's true. You're right. So then how did you start kind of focusing on the 50 and above? Like what kind of brought you to that aside from women complaining they can't go upstairs?
Well, no, like it was that like difference between like it was like when the CN Tower happened, it was like that aha moment, like as in like my mom who did her Weight Watchers and her classes for fitness and never really drank or and did not smoke, and my grandmother who not knowing any better smoked because that was like it wasn't considered bad at the time,
Yeah.
everyone was doing it, but she ended up having really poor health. And so for me, it was kind of like, oh, you take care of yourself, you take care of your health, you understand what to do with age. It can actually be this time where it's like not about I'm too old or I can't do this or that because of my age. It's actually you can do a lot. You can do just as much. You can be strong and healthy and live a second half that is really vibrant. And my mom has traveled the world with me. We've gone to all of these great places. She does better than me sometimes when we go places. Italy, we did Cinque Terre. It was called the Inferno summer. It was so hot. It was 50 degrees.
Oh
It
my
was
God.
so hot. I'm like stopping. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do this. Just walking up the stairs. Whew, a little more water. Okay, let's keep on going. I'm just like, okay, yeah, that's what you want when you age. And
Yeah.
so I pivoted. I really started to just focus in on changing this mindset of I'm too old, or if you don't have your health right now, it's not too late. You can still work on it and work on having that really great quality of life that you want.
And then you came back from Spain and you said you went to university, right? And so
Yeah.
what were you taking then?
So I have 2 degrees. One is
Like
in
hair slow-mo
kinesiology.
hair flip. I've got 2 degrees.
I've got 2 degrees, but my degrees are in kinesiology, which is the study of movement biology, biomechanics, health, wellness, a lot of nutrition. People don't know that in kinesiology, you don't just do a course on nutrition. You're studying human nutrition. So anyways, kinesiology, and my second degree is in international development, which I don't even know if that is the correct term now. It's basically looking at the politics of developing countries and how first world, quote unquote, countries affect third world
Oh,
countries.
okay. Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
thought like maybe like for a while, you're in university, you're like, oh man, I'm going to change the
Of
world.
course.
I'm going to marry the 2 degrees together, and
Yeah.
then I'll go and become a doctor and do Doctors Without Borders.
Yeah.
And then I realized how much with Doctors Without Borders, you're like intense. And it's not that I don't
I'm
like.
nodding my head like I know, like, oh yeah, when I was a doctor, like without borders.
Hey, I wasn't a doctor either. I was like, no, 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 I don't, because that was the only way I wanted to do doctor, was if I was in like, working in Doctors Without Borders or
Yeah.
something like that. And then I was
God,
like,
you
I
sound
don't
like a
even
really
really
shitty
like,
person.
pardon?
I said, you sound like a really shitty person. I only want to help people.
Yeah, except I am a shitty person at the end, because instead of being like, yeah, I'm going to do this, sacrifice my comfort and live intense and inoculate and help people. I'm like, no, no, no. Like, no, I need plumbing. I
You're
need,
like, on second thought, I'm going to help women over 50. I think that
yeah.
seems like they look like they need help.
Well, and also, like, what I wanted to do was preventative, right? And
Yeah.
I felt like medical as well. I was like, oh no, like, I don't want to put a Band-Aid, or like, not, I mean, we need vaccines. We need
Yeah.
doctors. Absolutely. I just didn't want to be one. I wanted to work on people before they even needed to get to the doctor, or
Yeah.
that work with the doctors on the other side, the preventative side. So that's it. Yeah. Boring story. There we go.
No, that's not boring at all. I was just like, I'm trying to, I have to keep my jokes at bay. I don't know. Some things that don't need to be joked about, right?
Oh, gosh.
So what do you think, aside from the, like, I feel like the stereotypical of like you're never too young or too old, what do you think are some myths that women in their 50s get told? Or even maybe
Um,
not they get told, or maybe that society believes?
I think right now the big one that, thank goodness we're shedding some light on it, is if you don't feel well, it's just because you're older now, and suck it up and deal with it.
Yeah.
And that is not true. Our hormones are shifting. Nutrient needs shift, our sleep quality, the level of busyness that you are as well in midlife. It is just a whole bunch of things all piled together. It's not just because you're getting older, and you need to advocate for yourself. I think that's the biggest one that bothers me. I've had to deal with that with my doctor too. Oh yeah, you're just getting older. No, you
Yeah.
need to advocate for yourself. That's not just because you're getting older.
I feel like so many guests that I've had on my podcast all talk about being like a self advocate, which of course, like
Mhm.
100%. It's unfortunate that that seems to be a repeated theme. I also am at the point now where I just can't even be bothered to have like, if I am with a doctor where I'm like, this person is pissing me off, and by person I usually mean man. Like it seems to always be the male doctors, and I'm
Yeah. Mhm.
no, I'm just going to no. I'm moving on. And so I feel like, and I've had health issues. And so
Mhm.
I have I feel like a good team of female doctors that understand me and what I'm having to deal with.
And that's actually really rare. That's such something that you're so lucky to have. I have clients and participants in my program who are like, I can't change my doctor. This is the only doctor that has open or availability in my area. And I need to have a doctor in order to do these tests or XYZ. I have no other choice. And
Yeah.
I've had clients, they're like, I've been here 5 times.
Yeah.
I am not going insane. I know there's something wrong with me. And so I find that happens quite a lot. There are people that don't have any other option but the medical support that they have in their area. So,
Yeah, you know what? You're 100% right. And again, like
mm,
I'm definitely a privileged person for sure. And I am like, we have this I don't know if you guys have it in Niagara, but we're members of MedCan, which is like a private medical concierge essentially.
mm,
So if you have any tests or anything done, that's covered under OHIP. But in order to be a part of like this, medical, I don't know, concierge for lack of a better word, it's a it's a pay to play kind of situation,
mm,
right? And I understand that not everybody can do that. But I do know people that have gone to the US where they're like, they need an MRI and they can't get an MRI. And
mhm.
so they just drive across the border and get that done. Again, not everyone can do that. And it is really, it's really unfortunate. I mean, living in Singapore for so many years, they had like a two-tier system, like they have the private medical care and then, public. And I know that's such a controversial topic here, which, I
Yeah.
won't also get into that one. But
Yeah.
but it's yeah. And like even like at our cottage, so we have a cottage in the Minden area, and one of my neighbors, I was talking to her and she's got some health issues. And so I have to remember that too, because again, I admit like I have a privileged life. I also live in the Toronto area, so there's a lot more doctors that you can see. So when you're in like smaller rural areas, it is frustrating. It is hard to get into with people. Sorry, I'm off on some weird
Yeah,
monologue
no,
right
no, no,
now.
that is, but it's so true. And to your point about going over to the US, like, and again, this might be a topic that we don't want to talk about, but I have clients
I'm
and
like, well, I'm going to
participants.
call this episode the topics we don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
Or we shouldn't talk
Taboo topics we shouldn't have talked about. That's what you need to call this.
Yeah.
I have clients in the US and in Canada. And I will say that for those that are lucky enough to have insurance in the US, the testing is super easy. You go to your doctor, you say, listen, like, I want you to test my hormone levels. Like, I actually want you to do that. Not, I need to see my doctor, then go to an endocrinologist. And then if that doctor doesn't find out exactly what I need, then I need to go to somebody that I find on my own.
Then
That's
36 months later, and when your referral comes through in Canada.
That's it. And like, meanwhile, like I remember when I first started working, because I have a lot of US clients, like a lot. And they're just like, what do you mean you don't test for cortisol right away? Like, what do you mean? And I'm like, wait, did you have, because there's different ways to test cortisol in your urine, in your saliva, and your blood. Yeah, my doctor did all of them. What?
Yeah.
That ain't like, you don't get that in like our standard healthcare. Like some things, just going over to the States was a lot easier to be able to get that. And for me, I think that like we're the healthcare system in Canada is failing for sure.
For sure. When we first moved back, it took me a long time to get a doctor. I finally got a doctor, and we also had gotten Medcan before, so I had gotten at least a referral to a rheumatologist. So that's where Medcan had helped. Feel like I'm doing an ad for Medcan. I am not. I have a lot of grievances with them as well. but anyway, I saw her a couple times. And then I suddenly get a note from her office saying that my daughter and I were being referred to somebody else in their clinic because she was leaving. Also, they referred us to a man, which I was not happy about. Secondly, I was just kind of like, it's weird to not get a phone call. Or so I booked an appointment with her just to kind of go in and say, like, what's happening? Like, are you opening up a clinic? Should we just come with you? Because I don't want to see a male doctor. Period. Not interested in that whatsoever. And then she said, "Oh no, I'm taking a sabbatical because they are taking money away from us, and they're because I guess there's a lot of nurse practitioners now, which is a good thing, but it's also like they're apparently taking money away from the doctors and kind of evening out the playing field for nurse practitioners, and I get it." I was talking to somebody else too, and they were saying like a GP, they get in Ontario anyway. I don't know if it's everywhere, but they get $37 per 15-minute appointment.
Okay.
And it's kind of like, so you're going to go to medical school and make like,
and be hundreds and thousands of dollars in debt, probably, right? Like, yeah.
As a hair and makeup artist, I can tell you I make more money than that. And hey, I think I'm good at my job, but am I saving lives? No.
Yeah, well,
some directors think we are, but definitely not. Oh,
yeah. So anyways, so I forget how we even ended up on that.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I think we were talking about myths or something, right? Like
myths. Yeah. Sorry. See, you're a bit younger than I am, so you have to keep me on topic. With my 54-year-old
brain fog for me, right?
Yeah. Oh my God, I get that too. I'll be halfway through a sentence and I'll be like, "What the fuck was I saying? I don't remember." Somebody
I just did that 2 seconds ago when we were talking about whatever it was.
Yeah, but we can blame me because I'm the one that keeps taking us off topic on this. So anyway, myths that society or women feel about themselves for women over 50.
Okay, so like the big one is the doctor's myth about the fact that it's in your head, you're getting older. It's not. That's the big one. Another one is weights are going to bulk you up. weight training will not. We have 45-fold less testosterone than men. The women that you see that are like huge bodybuilders are doing quite a lot, a really intense amount, and a lot of potential other stuff on top of
Right.
that. So the chances of that happening for us is really slim, but we need to be lifting weights. That's our quality of life, our bone density,
Yeah.
our strength. So it's something that's really important. And so I think that people thinking that that's going to happen is a big issue. I think it's a myth that we need to start debunking for sure.
So what's a good, or does it depend on the person? Like, what's a good weight to be lifting? Like 5 pounds, 10 pounds?
So like everyone's different.
Okay.
If you want to know the exact size, we have a test inside my fitness program, Over 50 Fit and Fabulous, you can do. But on average, your grocery bags weigh 10 pounds. So
Okay.
if your grocery bags weigh 10 pounds, are you taking 2 grocery bags to your car?
Right.
Or a grocery bag, are you lifting it up out of your shopping cart and putting it in the car?
Is that a question for me to answer? Yeah. Like I would say, you know what? I don't use grocery bags anymore. I have these like pop-up baskets. So they're probably twice the size of a grocery bag. So I would say I probably, lift one of those each in my each hand and put it in.
So the way that I see it is like 10 pounds, you can do some squats with 10 pounds. It's not, again, it depends on what's going on with everybody,
Yeah.
what your level of strength is, if you have any conditions or knee or back issues. But on average, if you are able at least 10 pounds, then you can do some squats with 10 pounds.
Right. Okay.
Mhm.
So let's talk about, just because I feel like this is a nice little segue into the pelvic floor. Because there's no fucking way in hell that I can do a squat with bags in my hands without peeing myself.
Okay. All right. Okay. So
and I feel like, sorry, I'm just gonna like jump in here because I feel like this is a topic of conversation that people like hint about, like they joke around about, but they don't really actually address it. And I had a bunch of girlfriends up at my cottage all around kind of the same age, and we were talking about this, and they were talking about how one woman was saying how she was getting personal training, like had a personal training session, and the trainer was like, okay, now we're going to do some jumping jacks, and he was doing them, and she didn't do it, and then he was like, what's the problem? And she's like, you're speaking to a woman over 50. I won't be doing any jumping jacks.
Yeah. And so I think that's my third myth. That is my third myth, that as you age as a woman, you are supposed to sneeze and leak. You're supposed to cough and pee, or you're not going to be able to jump.
So I don't believe that is something that we're anticipating that's going to happen to us. It just, it happens, right? And again, not with everybody, but I feel like it's not talked about enough. People talk about like gaining weight around the middle and how you need to work out. Like, I can't tell you how many times I get these fucking ads on my Instagram account, and I'm constantly blocking them. I report them because I feel like it's targeting a conversation where I feel like we need to address the pelvic floor issues first. Because that's
funny that you mentioned that, though, because maybe it is because everybody in all of my clients and participants and everybody that is in my circle of helping are all 50 plus, 40 plus even, or have had their kids and they're getting older, estrogen drops. So, your elasticity shifts, so you're more likely to leak. And they post memes. I'm not even able to pronounce that word. All the time about how funny it is that they leaked, or there's all of these little cartoons and these things, and we've normalized it. I find, at least in my circle, it's a part of the norm of the conversation. Ha ha ha! It's so funny. Yeah, you can understand this meme if you're over the age of 50.
A meme about a ma'am.
A meme about a ma'am who's leaking.
Well, I think that's the problem though too. Is like there's so much light made about it and so many jokes about it, but behind that, there's a lot of truth, right? And I feel like I know that you talk about a HIIT program, which I know is a great program, but somebody like me, I can't fucking do it. It's impossible.
Well,
right?
That's another myth, because just because you do HIIT doesn't mean you have to do impact.
Yeah, but I've tried HIIT before, and I'm not saying that there's not other options out there, but it's just it's almost like adding in that HIIT cardio where you're anyway, obviously this
So
is
if
your
you walk
profession.
up a hill, are you leaking?
If I walk up a hill? No, if
Yeah.
I'm walking up a hill, no. But I
Are
would
you out of breath at the top of that hill?
well, how steep is the fucking hill,
Okay,
Alicia?
let's say it's a steep hill. Let's say you are like going on a like steep hill walk.
I'm
Maybe
going on a
you're going
run.
to see that snake that's at the top of like a really big peak.
Yeah, then I would most likely be out of breath and probably saying like fuck halfway up the hill as
Yeah,
well.
like that's congratulations, you just did hit. And there was no impact. There was
Okay.
no like jumping.
Again, I feel like there's so much like shaming against women
Mm,
with a midsection
mm,
that I feel like if women were honest about their pelvic floor, I
mm.
feel like it's like we need to address that and get exercises for like I have now resorted to going to Google AI and saying these are my pelvic floor issues, what exercises can I do? You know?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And so maybe that's your next like 5-minute YouTube video.
I have them.
Yeah.
Talk a lot about it. I'm open about that. I have like what people don't know, you can change the way you breathe in order to help strengthen your pelvic floor. So we talk a lot about diaphragmatic breathing, like yoga, for
Yeah.
example, when you're like breathing in and out and your tummy expands out and then it shrinks in, which helps. But you can do another type of breath called the working breath, where
Hmm.
you expand out your ribs and then you exhale like you're breathing into a balloon. And
Yeah.
I actually have balloons in here because I
Whoa.
show when women have a lot of pelvic floor issues, all I get them to do is sit down, maybe even on a stability ball, so
Yeah.
that they can feel what their pelvic floor is feeling.
Yeah.
We work on expansive inhales with their breath. Basically, you expand out your ribs, and then as you exhale, you purse your lips and you force that air out. I suggest you try it with a balloon first because that force of going in there, I've had clients who just start with me with this and they're like, I leaked a little. We have to take it back a notch just
Well, that's
because.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So just trying that breath. So deep inhale, expanding the ribs out like an accordion, and exhale, purse the lips and try and bring that accordion back in.
Okay, cool. And sorry, that's you like that's what the balloon is used for?
The
I don't know
balloon
why
is
my voice just went like 2 octaves higher.
the balloon, you can do it by just pursing your lips and forcing air out.
We
But
call that in the fashion industry the Vogue O.
ooh,
When you see models when they're like posing, it's the Vogue O.
what I'd really like to learn how to do at the model, because I've tried to do this before, like just to make some nice pictures that never turn out. It looks more like I'm astonished. Is they tend to like make their eyes look almost like wispy. Oh, I'm thinking of something sultry. And I can't do that. Otherwise, it just looks like I'm empty. You have to work on that breath first. And then you can start to bring in some core work that's not crunches, that
Okay.
actually like puts a lot of pressure on the pelvic floor.
Yeah.
But other exercises. But I would say first get your breath. And then once you feel like you've mastered the breath, that's when you can start bringing other exercises in.
Okay, that's good to
Mhm.
know. When I was in Singapore, I saw a pelvic floor physiotherapist, and she was on my third episode of the Fuck You 50s.
Mm.
And she talked about breathing for sure. She also talked about how so many women actually don't need Kegels, and it's such a
Mm.
default to be like, you need to do some Kegels. And part of her job is like she even did like a I guess essentially like an internal exam, and she was like, your muscles are way too tight, and so it's
Mm.
having to like untrain that. She said it's the Gen X generation, we were always told to suck in our guts, and it
Yep.
was interesting because she was
Yes.
from South Africa, and so
Oh.
she said it's also like it's kind of like a universal thing, like stand up straight, suck in your gut. And so she said you
Mhm.
walk around with this, so you don't know how to breathe properly. And
Mhm.
so anyway,
And
I'm
you're
excited to see.
compressing your pelvic floor. Like you're basically doing more harm than good when you do that. Absolutely. And to your point, yes, more women are tight and weak. So like it's a combination of the two. You get really tight. So you need to do stretches as well as strengthening
Yeah,
things for down there as well.
down there. I know you talk a bit about as we get older and like joint issues and things as well.
Mhm.
And so, and I feel like down there in the nether regions, like I've had both of my hips replaced, right?
Oh,
And so that
wow.
also, like
Mhm.
I got referred because I was just so frustrated with like sorry, like And let's keep talking about Andrea's pelvic floor. You're welcome, everybody. But I got referred to a uro gynecologist.
Urologist?
Yeah, but it was like uro gynecologist. But she was just saying as well, like she said, oh, you could maybe get one of those, like, what do they call, like the pessaries?
It's a little bit of weight.
It's just supposed to be like you insert it, so then it puts pressure on, so then you don't leak. But I'm just kind of like, can I just like work out and get some better pelvic floor muscles versus shoving plastic in my body?
Well, I mean, maybe it depends what
Yeah,
you
I don't
want
know.
to do, what you enjoy. And now there's medications as well that some doctors are giving. So again, not treating the actual problem. Like, when, to your point, the fact that you went to a pelvic floor physiotherapist, every woman needs to go to a pelvic floor
Yes.
physiotherapist. Go and see one and
Yeah.
see what's going on. Like, you would be surprised at how much better you will feel if you go. How long did you go for?
Unfortunately, it was kind of gearing up to when we were moving back from Singapore, so I only saw her a few times. I love their company name too. It's Physio Down Under.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
great.
yeah,
Like I was saying, like, I know for you, you don't think it's talked about, but I think it's because of the circle I'm in, because I am helping women. Like, so
yeah,
for example, I'm like, the more open you can be, the more we can actually tailor things to
yeah,
you and what's going on. Like, if you don't tell me that you have pelvic floor issues,
yeah,
I'm going to assume that you're okay unless you tell me that something's going on.
yeah,
And it doesn't necessarily, I don't usually start people jumping anyways. I think there's a lot of issues with everybody jumping. And that doesn't matter if you're 20, or if you're 60. I think you need to learn form first and the foundation. If you don't
yeah,
know the foundation, how the heck are you going to be able to do these things?
yeah. I kind of go back to like these ads that you see about like get rid of your midsection, and like so many women I
Yeah.
feel from like the circle of people that I speak to
Mm.
that don't share this information with other people, that just say like I would love to work out and be like better fit, but what's stopping me is my pelvic floor,
Mhm. Yeah.
and that's where I also think maybe some of these ads and companies that are trying to sell this, like, get rid of your menopause midsection. It's like, fuck off, get rid of my like shitty pelvic floor, actually.
It is a common problem. And I think, like, it's great that you went to a physio for pelvic floor. A lot of women do not feel comfortable
Yeah.
with the idea that someone's going to be sticking their hand up there and staying up there quite a while as
Not
things are
without dinner first.
yeah, like, right? Totally. Yeah. How was your day going?
Oh my God. Sorry.
And
um
to that point, I know we're like, pelvic floor also means your poop shoop. So when we're talking about your anus as well, a lot of
my
times
anus is perfectly fine.
all right then. Okay, no more anus conversations
Oh no,
there.
but for others we can talk about it. Oh my God, so many jokes in my head that I'm keeping.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what's so let's move on. Also, this will end up turning into like a 3-hour episode. Nobody has
Oh
time for
yeah.
that.
What are we at? We're oh wow, an
It's
hour.
okay. I will still edit, but it is fun. Um, Maybe I'll just have to have you back again too if you like it. What do you think is the worst piece of advice that women over 50 get as far as health and fitness?
Oh, worst. Oh, the whole, I think it's the whole cut back on your calories, like if it like, and just do more and more exercise. I think that's a horrible piece of advice, like not taking into consideration anything that is going on with the woman in general. And it's like, again, getting the belly fat. Like, I talk a lot about the belly fat because everyone comes to me and asks me, how do
Yeah,
I get rid of minnow belly? How do I get rid of belly fat? And they're being told like, oh yeah, just cut back more on calories, cut back more on calories, do more exercise, do more exercise. And they're doing this, which is just disrupting hormones to an even greater degree. You're
yeah,
feeling exhausted. You may have
yeah,
already been going through issues with hormone shifts, which is why you're getting the increase in belly fat. And you're just creating even more of an issue. Plus, you're feeling deprived. You're feeling exhausted. How are you ever going to want to sustain that? Even if
yeah.
you do get the flattest stomach in the world, are you really going to sustain that? No.
This is why too. Like, I honestly, personally can't stand the whole diet culture because I don't think it's sustainable. I think it's unhealthy. I'm not an expert by any means whatsoever, but I just kind of like, I see like these things about like follow this Mediterranean diet or the Atkins diet or whatever. And I just kind of feel like essentially finding somebody like you who's an expert that can help you find a lifestyle that is healthy and suits you. Right? Does that not
Yeah,
make
I
sense?
definitely talk about weight loss, but I'm very clear that like, and you do need to have a little bit of a calorie deficit, but
Yeah.
people like are like these like Bernstein list 500 calories, keto, like let's take out all carbs. You've got carnivore now, which is, hey, let's not even have a vegetable because supposedly they're toxic these days. Like vegetables are now trying to kill us. Like this is a thing that's in the carnivore world.
Those
It's
devilish
insane. Yeah.
vegetables.
I know it's like, what the heck?
And like when I say like I'm kind of against the toxic diet culture, I'm not saying like just do whatever the fuck you want. Like, of course not. I just mean like in society we oversell this like this lady needs to go on a diet. You know, like
Right.
celebrities, it's like they're fat, they need to do this. They're too skinny, they need to do this. Like everyone jump on Ozempic or microdose their
With the
GLP ones.
Ozempic? Yeah, with Ozempic and like all of it, that's going back to skinny again, right?
Yeah,
I mean, don't get me wrong. And that's where I'm 50-50 with that because there are women that they've been working with me for years. They've lost 50 pounds. They've lost 60 pounds because their joints are hurting them. That's why they wanted to do it because they do feel like I've literally heard women say, I feel like I'm in jail in my body, like not being able to go up a flight of stairs because
yeah,
there's so much pressure on the joints because of extra weight or not feeling like themselves anymore. I totally can get on board with that. And they lost 50 pounds, but they still have the food noise where every meal it's still thinking about their next meal right away. They're working with there are therapists that focus in on binge eating and disordered eating, and they are working with somebody and they have been told by their doctor, listen, if you go on Ozempic or Wegovy, it's going to help with the food noise. It's going to help you get that last little stint. It's going to give you a break from all of the food noise. Go for it. Try it. And it has been a godsend for them. They've been so happy to be able to be on it. But do not think for a second that it's less work.
yeah.
And do not think for a second that all of a sudden now you're this special weight and you are going to be so healthy and vibrant and feel like amazing in bikinis, blah, blah, blah. Because it doesn't work like that. It's a lot of work. I'd actually argue that it's more work if you're
Yeah.
on those drugs because you do have a higher potential for losing your lean muscle. For women as we age, lean muscle, if you lose lean muscle, it's no longer pulling on bone. We're already at risk for losing bone density. You have a potential for losing more bone density if you don't have that lean muscle. So the women that I work with that are on it are working their butts off to maintain lean mass or enhance lean muscle to keep their bone density. They're doing what it takes. Like if you don't want to eat that much, but you know you need a heck of a lot more protein so you don't lose your lean muscle and you need your fiber. So one, you poop really well, but two, it also, when you're going to the bathroom, because you have that fiber content, it's helping take out inflammatory estrogens. It's helping to balance out your hormones better, reduce your risk of cancer, colon cancer. There's a whole plethora of reasons why women need a lot more fiber and we need more protein with age. So imagine you can't really eat that much.
Yeah.
Every meal, then you're trying to figure out, okay, how am I going to be able to balance this properly and still get in enough food that I'm not going to lose my lean muscle and have a good quality of life plus this weight loss.
I'm not taking Ozempic, and of course, I have no issue with anybody that does anybody that does anything on their own time is like whatever you need to do for you. But I have heard that people use it as a quick fix,
Yes.
and I think that unfortunately, probably from the invention of fast food, everyone wants like fast fashion, everyone
Right.
wants like fast fixes, and I think that we should have learned from previous whatever the fast X is that it's never actually the right thing to do. I mean, aside from again, I just want to throw in there that people that need it, like that's different,
Yeah.
of course. But it's when you're thinking it's a fast fix for me. And then I also, and again, I'm not an expert on this and I feel like it's a new thing and maybe you have an opinion as an expert, but when people first started doing Ozempic, even plastic surgeons were talking about how they had to change. And I guess probably not even just plastic surgeons. I mean, not everyone is going for aesthetics. Some people are, like me, I had my hips replaced, whatever. But they were saying in surgery, they were having a hard time because Ozempic was changing the texture of the skin. So they had to change how they were stitching people up. I don't know if that's still the case, or maybe some doctors agreed or did and some disagreed, but there's that. I've heard from people that I know that are taking Ozempic that they said that they basically have diarrhea every day now. And
Yes. Yeah.
so, and I've also heard from people that take Ozempic that their appetite is smaller, but they said it's changed their relationship with food because food doesn't have the same taste anymore.
Yep. Yep. And that's actually, so the average lifespan of being on the drug is about 13 months. The reason being gastrointestinal issues, number one, and just being so tired of being bored by food. Because food, it is great if you've been having a lot of food noise to quiet that down. But food is still celebration. It is society. It is connection. It is memory. We are like, as human beings, food is something that can be this wonderful celebration, this wonderful thing. And so when we no longer feel that same way, at some point, at least what the early research is showing so far, people are like, I don't want that anymore.
Yeah.
I have clients that are on it, they're slowly working their dose up, and they've decided to stay at the lower dose until after the holidays because they genuinely want to enjoy the foods that are during the holiday season.
Yeah.
So yeah, and to your point, like if you want to fit into a nice dress or you just want to hit that scale weight, like I think you're doing it for the wrong reasons. And I actually think that you should not have access to the drug in that state. I think that we need to look at the individuals that genuinely need the drug to save their lives. If you have type 2 diabetes, if you have obesity and you cannot manage, you've really tried hard on your own and it's just not working for you, or you've lost, but you just can't get any further because of the food noise or these psychological reasons behind that, I think that's when you need to be on the drug.
Yeah, I feel like I agree with you on that. So if somebody hasn't really had fitness in their life and they're wanting to make a change, do you have like these are 3 exercises that everybody should be doing? Or
so that really depends. I would say the big movements are the ones that you're looking for. Squats, because every time you sit down on a chair and stand up, you have to do that anyways.
Right.
So
okay,
that
so
is
I can say I don't pee on a chair every time I sit down, so maybe I'm okay.
There you go, right? So you can do a form of squat. You can do some form of squats. Maybe just try and do that like 15
Little
times.
life goals.
There you go.
I have friends that are listening. They're going to be messaging me going, are you okay?
Oh, gosh.
Okay, so squats. Okay, check.
Yeah, squats. Big muscle groups again, row. So that's going to help postural muscles, big back muscles. This helps enhance lean muscle. It does rev up your metabolic rate more than, doing a little bicep curl.
Okay.
So the big muscles, chest, for example. If you're starting and you don't have a lot of wrist or shoulder issues, do an elevated push-up. Like you can do it on you can do it on the wall, your hands shoulder width apart. A lot of people, you think of push-up, you think wide, right? Like wide arms, flaring the elbows. But if you have, especially like as women, as we age, we're more susceptible to frozen shoulder. There's not as much blood flow going into the shoulders as much, and shoulder issues. So I like to start with killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Do the tricep push-up with your hands a lot closer and your elbows slide along your side. It gives you more stability. It still gets in your chest. It gets your back on the way down. Like we're talking about your core work. You can get that balloon breath going on your way up when you're pushing. So you're getting pelvic floor in there too.
Yeah.
Whole 9 yards, full body.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. I like that. I had put on my Instagram account earlier that I was speaking to a health and fitness expert. And if anybody had any questions, I have 3 questions.
Okay.
So somebody had a question of Asian Pilates versus regular Pilates versus lingerie.
Lingerie?
It's Lageree. I don't know what that is. I have to Google that. I should have Googled it.
Lager. Okay, so I've never heard of Asian Pilates before. Um, and I haven't heard of lingerie Pilates. It sounds a little racy for me. Personally, I don't know.
I'm gonna Google like this word because I'm like, yeah, I think she just spelled it incorrectly when she posted that question. Lagree, Lagree is high intensity, low impact, full body workout that uses the megaformer machine. Looks like a centipede, so it looks like it's similar to Pilates. It was funny because, like I said, I lived in Asia for 15 years and I did
Mhm,
reformer Pilates there.
mhm.
And I've never heard of Asian Pilates. And I'm like, I lived in Asia.
Well, it says here, like, so I was doing that one while you were doing, I went,
Yeah.
Asian Pilates isn't an official separate method of Pilates. It's mostly a marketing label or hashtag used for Pilates content created by Asian instructors.
Okay.
All right. So, okay. So that's Pilates or Pilates. All right. Or what was the other one then? What was say it
Lag
again.
Lagree, Lagree.
Um, I don't, if it has high intensity interval training in it, is that what you're saying it is?
That's what Google says.
Okay, so this says that it's a high intensity, low impact workout method that builds on Pilates principles, but adds strength training and endurance elements. Okay, so let's take a look at Pilates and Lagery Pilates,
Okay.
because it sounds like with Lagery Pilates, you're probably doing like 45 minutes an hour. Don't know. I don't know what it is. Okay, I thought it was lingerie, but if you're doing high
That's a
intensity,
way different type of Pilates.
that's a
That's
totally
like in the
different.
bedroom with, I
Like,
guess,
it's
whoever.
funny where your mind goes. Okay, okay, so this is
All right.
okay. So when you're looking at strength training for enhancing lean mass, Pilates in general isn't really that great for that. It's great for endurance. It's great for mobility.
Right.
That's wonderful. Like, it's great if you have back issues and your core is weak and that's something you want to work on. Reformer, I love it. I love the core work that comes with a reformer, for example. But you don't want to be doing it as your strength training or your high intensity training. For workouts, especially as we age, you want your strength to be separate so that you're working on enhancing lean mass.
Yeah.
The Pilates is more about mobility and endurance, but it's not where you want to be doing your HIIT and your strength training.
Okay.
That's separate.
Okay. Yeah. And I have to say, like, after I had my first hip replacement, it was my orthopedic surgeon that told me, find someone that does reformer Pilates.
Mhm.
Um,
I love reformer Pilates, and I actually love, like, I did a course called Body Control Pilates, which is rehabilitative.
Next question.
Uh-huh.
Cold plunging. Should women plunge at a different temperature than men?
Really, a lot of women are still trying to cold plunge. We don't want to. Our basometer, so basically, especially as we're going through hormone shifts, and our hypothalamus is kind of what is deciding
That's what I
on.
thought. The hypothalamus. Yeah, I was thinking the same.
Okay, basically, like, we're more susceptible to cold stuff. Don't do the cold, do lukewarm, or I like hot. Did you know that if you do like hot right after you've done a workout, it helps with the anabolic, like the growth of your lean mass a little bit for women? Like,
Oh,
so go have a hot shower or a steam after you've had, like, I get boiling hot in my shower after I've done a workout, not just because there are benefits, but because I like that better.
yeah, yeah.
So go hot.
Um, does it work for men too, or just like that's a more of a woman thing?
Man, that is a difference in sex. Like, it's better for men to do the cold plunge. They're able to regulate temperature differently because they're not dealing with the hormone shifts that we're dealing with.
Right. Okay, that makes
Mhm.
sense. We have. This is not a question. This is. I mean, I'll ask this question. This is not something that sent it. It's for me. Oh my God, can I over-explain that anymore? Um, we have a red light therapy sauna. What's your thoughts on those?
Oh, I love red light therapy. And you were just talking about like doing different skin treatments as
Yeah,
we age. Make sure that you know that your red light therapy is FDA approved.
yeah.
So you just have to do your research on them.
I did do my research, so hopefully They weren't lying to me. I bought it from a place that sells them in Burlington. I'm glad it
Yeah,
has the
it
stamp of
helps. It
approval.
helps enhance collagen production. It helps like a deep level rejuvenation and repair of connective tissue of the body. Like it's all around. Like I'm for them if
Yeah.
they're a good quality.
And it's nice if you sit and sip a glass of red wine because you get antioxidants and red light therapy, right?
Oh my gosh, another myth coming up. I see.
You don't agree with that one?
No.
Um, okay, another question. Is there a better time of day to work out?
That depends what level you're at. Here's the most ideal answer from a science perspective: is wake up first thing in the morning, refreshed, do your cardio or your intense workout in the morning. It goes with when we first wake up, our cortisol levels in general are higher. Like you want to bank on that. You want to use that. You want to um, do a really good, hardcore, solid workout first thing in the morning. And
Yeah.
then that actually helps to lower cortisol later on when it's time to go to bed. If
Okay.
you're doing like a super cardio session and you're doing that right before bed, during that cardio session, you are increasing cortisol. It's not bad. People get like, oh my God, I'm increasing cortisol. I hate to tell you, any form of exercise, like when you're running or jumping or not jumping, but like going up a hill, whatever you're doing is going to increase your cortisol. It's the after effect that after the workout is done, you've waited a while, that cortisol level goes down and then it goes to a new low. You're adapting your cortisol level to a low. But has that cortisol been able to go down? Has your body temperature been
Right.
able to go down so that you sleep well? Let's do a test. Let's see if we switch your workout time. If you still sleep that well, or if, for example, if you have a Fitbit or something like that, we're actually seeing your deep sleep and your REM is increasing. Like, let's just do a test. And if at the
Right.
end it's the same, then do your workout at night too. Who cares?
Yeah.
What I find though, the issue is that a lot of women right now, as we're aging, we are trying to deal with getting proper sleep. If you're waking up a couple of times at night, you are going through hormone fluctuations and
Or
sleep
your
is being
husband is
affected.
snoring.
Oh my gosh, I have that problem so much. So point is, if you have issues sleeping at night, you're not going to want to wake up early to do a workout. It might be really hard for you, and sleep does matter more. That's rest and rejuvenation. So
Yeah.
you might need to do your workout later on, or you might need to do it later in the afternoon.
But ultimately, the morning is better.
Ultimately, the morning would be best, unless you have that strong desire and love for it.
Yeah. No.
You're an exercise non-responder. There you go.
Oh my God, that sounds so funny. Yeah, I'll take that. I definitely don't get that adrenaline rush or whatever that runners like. I definitely don't do that. But I definitely feel a difference, like in mental health wise. When I actually have you know exercise or at least been active.
Mhm.
And I generally am pretty active, but
Mm.
anyway, so many great things. Like I said, your PR person sent me like these great like lists. Obviously, we've gone on for so long. Maybe like if you love this, maybe you'd like to come back on
Yeah,
and we can like
definitely. I love that. I love how easy we are to banter,
yeah.
like I just, yeah.
I love that you laugh at my jokes too. Thank you.
They are good. They are good. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, I've been taking improv, so as my husband says, it makes me
Oh,
a bit more annoying than I was
oh,
before.
I love that. Yeah.
Is there anything else that you want to kind of add, Alicia?
Okay, the last thing. To your point, but I can't remember what the thing
What my
was that
point
you were talking
was?
about. The talking about, yeah, like, because you said, and then I thought, oh, this is like, it's all about the quality of your workout, not like you doing more. It's all about the quality and really, that's
Yeah.
what I can't remember what you said that
I don't know. I
brought
was
it up.
probably just talking shit. Uh, but I think you talk about on your website that people think they need to go and spend so much time at the gym, right?
Oh, that was the point. Yeah, like you don't need to spend hours
See,
working
I
out.
read.
Like
Yeah.
you're tired or you're not feeling your best. It's all about the quality of what you do. So you can do like 10 minutes, you can do 5 minutes. You can like if your chest is feeling horrible and you can't do a cardio session, great. Then, do some rows and then lie down in between. I think one of my most popular workouts is the 5 best exercises when you're just getting started. And it was literally because I had COVID I had no energy in my body. Most people are like, oh, there's something wrong with me. I should be able to lift. No, you just had COVID. Like, it was bad. I don't feel guilty because I had COVID, or I don't feel like there's anything wrong with me. I'm dealing with COVID. And so the whole workout is me doing like a set and then like, okay, we're just going to walk for like a minute or lie here. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
And people are like, wow, it was a simple workout that I could actually start. You know, I think there's this idea that you have to do this really intense hit jumping, pee yourself, you know, no pain, no gains.
That's how you know it's good, when you pee yourself.
That's it, right?
Thanks for tuning in to the Fuck You 50s. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to follow and rate the podcast. And we would love to connect with you on Instagram. So be sure to follow us at the Fuck You 50s. The Fuck You 50s is hosted by Andrea Claire. See you next time.